All right. Hello, all you lovely people on YouTube. This is Ripar 4, and say hello to Denmark. And our friend Ghostyie will be joining momentarily. But we're doing another one of these where we are watching the premiere, the premiere of this, and then later today we're all going to play not Renegades. That's the one coming out. That's the reveal. We're watching the Renegades reveal, and then we're going to play Ash and Iron, but we're not recording Ash and Iron. That's just going to be for us. Yes. So we started a bit before it, so that way we can
discuss our
theory
and thoughts about what the update could be, because there's been a lot of confusion about what it is.
Yes. We're going to see a lightsaber in this. Let's be real.
There's no way we're not going to see it. That is kind of like as far as like the direct Star Wars stuff goes, and then for the rest of it is like, oh, the Cabal wear white, they're called the Imperial Cabal, but they're not like actual stormtroopers. You know?
Yeah. Sorry, headache. I think we're gonna fight a Guardian, because the whole thing in the description, if you read it in game right now, before this, it talks about a Dark Guardian. So that leads me to believe we'll fight a Guardian, and it could, if that is the case, that could set a precedent for allies joining you in mission, like campaign missions. Like, say, like, I don't know, you're doing, like, I don't know, the next campaign after Renegades, and then, like, Saint is fighting alongside you. He's shooting Perfect Paradox, and then it says Saint 14 activates the light, and then he throws a Sentinel Shield, and then throws another one, and then throws another one, and then his super stops, and then he goes back to shoot. Yeah, because, like, fighting alongside Keitel in Lightfall was honestly my favorite part of Lightfall. Like, that whole section with Keitel was my favorite part.
That's easily one of my favorite destinations.
Lightfall is just kind of garbage, but that mission is fun. I feel like it's going to be on Mars. It did not look like Mars in the reveal. Yeah.
We're not getting like a new destination, right?
I don't think they did. I don't know. I wonder what characters that are pre-existing that are going to be in this. I have my thoughts on Drifter, but also Edge of Fate could possibly have made it to where he does not want to be involved. You didn't play that, but you do not care too much for spoilers. Yeah. Someone said Fortnite collab too. If they do another Fortnite collab, Cade, for the love of God. You couldn't even say your joke right. Although, I do agree. I do think we should have Zavala armor for the Titans and Ikora armor for the Warlocks, despite the fact that I don't like Ikora. I actually quite dislike Ikora.
Oh, music stopping. Here we go.
All right. Hey, everybody. Hey, Guardians. Welcome.
I don't hear the stream.
I'm going to be your host today. And
I don't hear it on yours.
Happy 11-year anniversary to Destiny 1's launch.
I hear it now.
I wanted to make sure to cover that at the very top because it's kind of
I'm going to watch it on my
melting.
TV.
11 years of Destiny. Had no idea we were
Hello?
Today we have a ton to
hello,
talk about,
Ghost.
so we're going to rush through this.
Yeah, we can
No,
hear you.
We aren't going to rush. But we have
It
Renegades.
literally just started.
About that's going to be coming in December. We have a
Didn't mean to lie to you. It took 4 minutes instead of 3.
We've been listening.
No, you're
to your
fine.
feedback, and we
You
actually
just
have some
made it in
plans that are
time.
coming together right now to address it since Edge of Fate launched. And then we also have, on the second half of the show, we're going to be looking at Ash and Iron. We'll have a bunch of devs on the couch. We're going to talk about the activities.
So the first half is going to be Renegades.
Potentially a new exotic.
And the second half is going to be Ash and Iron.
Without further ado, Robbie, how you doing? Welcome back to the couch.
Hey Dylan, it's great to be here. And like you were talking here, and
Oh my God, that Star Wars ass cover, did you see that?
Based on all the feedback we're beginning from the Edge of Fate, that we'll talk about right after we give a little bit of a first look at Renegades here. And that's why we got our laptops, right? There's a lot to get through.
Look at
and
that.
There's a lot to talk about, so we're just got to make Dylan and I are making sure we're gonna get.
Yeah,
through it
Drifter's in it. I see his ship.
So we've been
I noticed
hard
it
at
started,
work
like,
on collaborating with our
figure
friends at
grasping
Lucasfilm
a,
Games
ghost,
to make something that is like
his
unmistakably
hand.
Star Wars.
I wonder if
but
that's the Ghost Hunter
authentically
or the
a
Ghost Killer.
Destiny story and experience. And so today we get to start.
The Ghost Killer's being hunted by Micah right now.
And I'm going to embrace my inner Scarrow and ask, Robbie, is there a Vidoc?
Yeah, so you all asked for it. You're going to get it. We're about to play a Vidoc. That is our first look at the Lawless Frontier. You're stepping into a world of criminals, shady deals, with an arsenal at your disposal that you'll only be able to find within.
That kind of looks like
frontier
Mars.
That's emerged within Soul.
It does look like Mars.
And so, yeah,
It
let's
doesn't
take our
look
first
as
look
white,
at Renegades.
like white sand as it did before in the review.
Yeah. Oh, we're jumping. It's Mars.
Seeing how stunningly Star Wars it felt was electric.
Oh my God, that's
Jumped
just a
to that walker,
lightsaber.
And I just annihilated the encounter.
That is just a lightsaber.
What? That? What the fuck?
Feeling that blaster just go off. It was like a whole new world opened up for me.
There's something really special here that we
I
haven't
love
done in
that
Destiny
dust
before.
That ignition, that hiss, that sound.
Oh, it's like that.
Oh,
Okay.
oh my God. That looks like
We
Jabba's
begin in the
skiff.
shadow of a
Oh,
prophecy
Drifter.
that says our end is already written. It's here we draw a line in the sand, where we start the long journey.
Those were just straight up blaster shots.
In Renegades, Guardians infiltrate a criminal underworld to save a friend whose past has caught up with him and disrupt the
Whoa.
rise of powerful new enemies. And special collaboration.
What happens to
includes
Drifter?
filmmakers. We took
They
inspiration
froze my
from Star
boy.
Wars to
They
craft
froze
one of a
Drifter.
kind Destiny story. Renegades redefines what an expansion can be.
It's a Cabal
From
version of an
guns and
ATST.
glory of a space western to Destiny. But Renegades
so
isn't
cool.
just about power. It's about what you're willing to risk to change the future.
I've been told a lot of things about the Star Wars like thing crossover. The big one was that it's not
The
gonna
folks
be
at
direct
Lucasfilm.
crossover.
Oh,
are such
he has
great
Thorn.
collaborators.
Like
They
referencing
understood that in order for this to
Star
work, we had to
Wars,
find
because
where
it's
the
like
Venn
a-
diagram of our
We're not
two
pleased.
stories meet.
I wasn't expecting
Themes
the
of
references to
underdogs
Star Wars
rising
to be
up
just
against something much
straight up
larger
Star
than
Wars.
themselves. Themes of hope. Those little places in that Venn diagram were the ones that really helped us find the story that
I'm
we
really
wanted
curious
to
on
tell
what's going to
together.
happen to Drifter.
If you look at Star Wars and you look at Destiny, you can kind of see that parallel that exists. So for instance, our Dredgen,
That looks like a
they're
Sarlacc pit.
Our Sith.
Pretty Sithy.
Yeah. And then you've got the Barrett Imperium, and they are very, very Empire-like. They have a huge appetite for expansion.
I like. I
think
love
of the
these
Praxic Order.
designs.
There are Jedi
That is
in
so
this
cool.
place,
I love
and
it in
They
Cabal
are
Tech.
very focused on order and law and understanding that there is a binary in our universe of good and evil. We get to poke at that a little bit.
No.
In a way that suits our story and our
Saint
world,
would not be a
while
bottom.
Still feeling very much like
that
the
what you meant?
inspiration that we're calling from. Edge of Fate leaves us with a
Probably
really
not.
pass forward into the future. We know of this prophecy now that tells us that we need to bind the Nine or we face extinction. And Drifter was there on Kepler. He saw all of this.
Not running from this one.
It's crazy how they're just spoiling the last cutscene of Renegades Edge of Fate right now.
The Nine and the rise of this new faction, the Barrett Imperium. He sees them rising at an unnaturally fast rate and is insistent that there's a problem. But the Vanguard isn't listening.
Look at their guns.
They're insisting that he needs to stand down.
The cool thing about this criminal underworld is you
Drifter's
and
doing
your
what we
crew,
did after
you come in
Shadowkeep.
At the bottom, and at the top, there's the Barrett Imperium. You need to work with all these crooked criminal syndicates in between.
Whoa.
Earning your power, building
Whoa.
the variety, getting the gear that you need to take down.
Oh,
that
we're gonna work with
Imperium.
Vex?
There's a weapon that the Barrent Imperium have made, and we need to be the ones to destroy it. And we're not going to be able to do that unless we work with exactly the kind of people that we normally fight. So we're going to head out to the lawless frontier, and one job at a time, we're going to take down the Imperium.
The
Well,
lawless frontier is filled with big, chaotic, cooperative activities. You're gonna choose the job, you're gonna choose which renegade abilities you're gonna take into those jobs, and then you're gonna drop into the action with your team, smash up those objectives.
what's this
get as
planet,
many riches and
though?
treasures as you
Is
can,
this Venus?
and then get out, or die trying.
To do that, you're going to go to the Lost Frontier holo map. You'll see Mars, Europa, and Venus with swamps that are very reminiscent of Dagobah. There's some hints of Hoth in Europa, right?
Yeah.
For fans of both Star Wars and Destiny, like Mars, which is some pits that are very reminiscent of Sarlacc pits, and you don't want to fall into them, you'll die.
These are Destiny locations. It's just we're taking inspiration from some of these iconic places in Star Wars.
Let's say we go to Mars.
That's
and
just
you're gonna pick a
Java's
bounty
sailboaters.
hunting job for the Fallen to take out some Cabal. And then you either matchmake with people online, you take your crew with you, you can play solo. Every time you drop in, you might be in a different location on the map. Your objectives are gonna be a little different each time, and it also might be a different time of day, so there's a lot of variety. In
I like that
what's
hunter
within
armor.
These activities is
That's a really cool concept.
Playable.
I agree. No, I like
Along the
this.
way, we're gonna throw a bunch of curveballs. You might run into a missile tower that's trying to take you out from halfway across the map. And you have to like divert and take it out, and you get some extra credits out of that. Defeat your boss, get to the exfil with whatever time you've got left, call your ship in, all hell drops in on your head from the Cabal. Your ship flies in, you hop aboard, and you got to exfil.
That gun looks cool.
Over the
I can see
course
myself
I'll let you know-
missing that jump
and
so many
deep
times
into the
today.
post game of Renegades.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be unlocking and earning
Whoa.
a bunch of different Renegade
It,
abilities.
oh, it's the Gambit sound effect. That's cool.
We've got things like airstrikes, Cabal drop pods,
If they say reinforcements,
like
that's gonna be
walkers.
insane.
interceptors,
Oh, we can control that?
bikes, turrets.
What the hell?
We've got 9 abilities, 7 upgrades.
Was that a fucking
There's
speeder
a
bike?
ton of
Yeah,
stuff that you can
a
bring
fallen
in
one.
and just change how things play.
It's like a tech tree of options.
It's like a whole tree of options across support, defensive, and offensive abilities. So the player's going to have a lot to play with here.
Okay.
The Lawless Frontier isn't just about raw power. It's about influence. Shady backroom deals, working for these powerful syndicates and against them at different times. And all of this takes place at the heart of the criminal underworld in Tharsis Outpost.
The Vex have been
Vex.
preoccupied. They've been
Vex.
investigating the world, and they haven't been looking at Tharsis. It's changed a lot since the last time we were there.
It's now this thriving black market, this criminal underworld. Tharsis Junction became Tharsis Outpost. If you have an unsavory job that you need done, you can find it at Tharsis Outpost.
Oh, spider.
Tharsis Outpost
Okay.
feels appropriate for both Star Wars and for us. When we looked at Mos Eisley as inspiration, we knew that we could play in that playground in a really
I like
fun
this
way.
place.
From
I
the
want to
ghost
be
that goes
here.
floating around to one Elixni with all 4 of his Elixni arms shaking up drinks. We took that inspiration and we found the Destiny spin on
Yeah.
it. Criminal syndicates have moved in.
You're working with the syndicates.
If they add a
You
drunkenness
are
mechanic
building
to
your
Destiny,
notoriety with them.
The 3 different syndicates that we created, we're going to be dealing with. The Pikers are Elixni. They're kind of like an anarchist biker gang.
I like their
other Elixni,
design.
They're atheists. They don't worship machines. They follow relics. We've also got the Totality Division, a subsect of the Barrent Imperium. They're run by Scions, and their enforcer Rao is going to be the leader of this group. And we've got Tharsis Reformation. They are a breakaway group from Maya's Vex. They're starting to think for themselves and figure out what it means to be an individual.
They're starting
A
to do
conscious
crime.
breakaway
You know,
Vex?
they're wearing clothes.
No, I really
Clothes are
like
what all
that.
individuals do. We need
I
to
love
have
their
new
jacket.
people to
I
fight
kinda
and new
want
people to root for.
Yeah.
And
No,
this
I want
was
to
our
interact with these
opportunity.
Vex.
That's so weird to see the Vex unironically holding like a normal gun. You see
But the
Vex?
heart of the Renegade
Yeah.
fantasy
Like, that was just a
is not
revolver, that
just
was just a t-shirt.
surviving the lawless frontier. It's
I
garnering
want to know
influence
more about
and
that.
building
Wait,
your
I'm actually
power
really excited
so that
for
you can
this.
bend it to your will.
I want this.
In the end game, you get the best weapons, the best armor, the coolest exclusive cosmetics. You're going to need to work with the syndicates to increase your notoriety by completing jobs successfully alone or with a crew, and then doing so you'll unlock our highest risk.
I like the aspect of getting in the Vanguard ship.
To do the special job that'll take you off planet to the dungeon.
To a dungeon?
And you'll also unlock Invasion.
That's right, Invasion is back. But this doesn't work like Gambit. It's opt-in, the invader has some initiative when Invasion begins. This is more strategic.
You scan the battlefield, and you're like, okay, is this the right time for me to take the shot? And what's the right tool for me to do it? Do I use an airstrike or a vehicle? Do I use a Cabal Walker?
Just watch out for that double cross.
Yeah.
Wait, people can invade your bounties?
No, this is a separate game.
Oh, okay.
It's a game mode called Invasion.
Renegades are the Guardian's descent into a criminal underworld.
That'd be awesome.
A world of shadows and syndicates, where your light and your choices will cut a path forward. You'll fight dirty, break the rules, and build a hardened crew that can take on any job, standing up to the most ruthless syndicates in the system. Even in the darkest corners.
Something tells me it's a
there's
relic
still a
item
glimmer of hope.
with
Guardians will have to find their own version
how
of
you're able to
balance
throw it.
between loyalty and survival, between power and purpose. Because there's more at play than credits and contracts. Forces are on the move. Ones that
I hope he
see
doesn't
not just
die.
as a player, but as a piece
That's
on
a
the
cool
board.
villain.
It's a reskin cat.
To change the future, you'll have to become the one thing they never saw coming.
Who's that?
Start
Probably a
the
new
engines.
character.
Take it off as soon as you can.
This is so weird. This is Destiny. What the fuck is happening? I really want this. I want this so much. Oh my god.
Oh, X-Wing.
What the
All
fuck?
right, welcome back. Sorry, I love Vidocs. I gotta stop looking at chat. Let's get the show on the road. So pre-orders for the new Renegade Standard Edition start right now. And we actually have some added bonuses. Even if you pre-ordered the, what do we got? Year of Prophecy Edition, we have 2 additional cosmetics that are going live today with the patch. The Starside Introduction Emblem and a new exotic ship, which we call the Renegade Leader. You're going to see it on the screen right now, and
really
I'm going to ask a silly question. What are we looking
That's
at?
pretty cool.
I mean, I think we're kind of looking at something that looks
You're-
like
you're gonna be getting that
here in a
at
little
Ghost.
bit, maybe a little Red Leader action. So,
Yeah, I'm
I
hyped.
mean, this is one of our homages, right? That's the team had a lot of fun with.
That
So we
is
wanted to
so
build like an
cool.
iconic ship, Dylan, that kicked off. the
Oh,
Road to Renegades here
oh my
in a few
God.
months. And what's cool about
It's-
this is
it's like
you're
an
actually gonna
astromech
see
mixed
your
with the
ship, whatever
Shake.
ship you have equipped, that's going to be flying by when you deploy your Renegade abilities in the Lawless Frontier, and also you're going to be using your ship to go between different
You see
areas
it?
within the Plaguelands here in the Reclaim activity that's launching today as well.
Your
Awesome.
ship is the one that
So
delivers
with
the stuff in
pre-orders
the
talked
new
about,
game
let's
mode?
dive into the
That's so
Vidoc.
Wait, that's so cool.
Robbie, where are we starting?
I'm finally
Yeah,
able
so
to
I
see
think
my
it's like
ship.
probably
It's-
best. There's so much
Oh
like
my
to do a
God.
really kind of quick overview of what we looked at here. So
I have to
Renegades
keep my
threw
ship
you
down
and your
to
crew
act like
into the heart of the
Cade's
Lawless
dropping
Frontier
off the
that's
stuff for me.
emerged around Mars, Europa, and Venus, all new
Finally,
locations
my
across
years
those
of using a
places.
ship that has, like, a bunch of guns
And you're
and
trying to
missiles
keep
on
up
it
with
will pay
Drifter,
off.
ultimately, who's
Then we'll
chasing
fly by
startling
and guns and
visions of
missiles.
calamity and rumors of
A
powerful
flyby
new
of my
Cabal
biplane is
faction
gonna be
that's
so
rising
funny
up
when
in
it drops a
Imperium.
gigantic
The Imperium's
walker.
installed themselves as top
Mm-hmm.
dog in the criminal underworld, and Drifter's convinced that the Nine is involved.
Look at
in
that.
Imperium's rapid growth. It wouldn't be the first time the Nine have meddled in the background and done some crazy things.
I want to fight that
with
Dark
Cabal
Guardian.
enemies. Anyway, so to deal with the Imperium, you're going to take on the role of a renegade as a guardian. You're going to smuggle, sabotage, bounty hunt your way to the top of the Lawless Frontier, and that means you're going to be working with the shady syndicates to build your influence within Tharsis. But ultimately, like, this is for the right reason. You're being the bad guy to do the right thing because you can't really ignore this prophecy of extinction that
God,
showed
look
up
at this guy.
at the
This
Edge
guy's
of Fate.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, you mentioned Drifter. We have a pretty stellar cast here, and there was a new character.
God.
I feel like you'll love this.
Yeah, we showed one of our new
back end. I
characters.
think they're gonna be my
That's a
favorite.
new member of your crew
Yeah.
who comes from the Praxis Order.
This
actually.
is
And,
gonna be a good
they've
campaign.
been tasked with tracking down reports of dredging activity.
Oh, wait, I didn't even
across
notice.
the Lawless Frontier, and they've also
When
been
it goes
tasked
back to the
with keeping
Titan
an eye
or
on
the
Drifter because
screen
he's
where it
been
shows, like,
seeing
the wallpaper.
and saying some crazy stuff.
The
And
Titan's
this is
holding
all
like
being
a gun
done,
that looks like
in defiance of the
Dinjarin's
Vanguard, so
blaster.
The Praxis Order is kind of here to kind of be oversight of everything that's happening. We've got a bunch of new villains too, alongside the criminal syndicates and their bosses.
Oh, he's frozen in
and we just don't want to
stasis.
spoil too much right now. We're gonna have more on the story
So
closer to
that-
launch.
All right, so
the
we've
idea
got
with the
smuggling,
yellow lightsaber
sabotaging,
is
bounty
from
hunting,
the, like,
wearing
the dragon
clothes,
hunting
doing
order of the
crime.
Vanguard.
It's important.
Let's
Yeah,
talk
it's
about the gameplay.
Yeah, so being
They'll
an
do
individual
anything but bring
means
Shiro
crimes and
back.
clothes. We've established that. Yeah, going forward. So one thing to like make sure is clear here, like in the campaign that has a bunch of story missions. It's going to introduce you to also the jobs that you'll be taking in addition to those story missions within the Lawless Frontier. So
Look at that
you'll be
one in
kinda
the
climbing
back.
the ranks of the criminal underworld here because the syndicates are not going to trust you out the gate. You kind of have to garner influence with them before they're going to help you out in dealing with the Imperium. And so then at the conclusion of the campaign, once that Imperium's chokehold is kind of loosened on Tharsis and the Lawless Frontier, you unintentionally kick off a turf war between the three syndicates because now they're all vying for power because you've kind of toppled the top dog of their power hierarchy. Yeah.
And so let's talk about this. In December, the Lawless Frontier is coming. It's not just like a concept. It's an activity.
Yeah, and I know we're showing something on screen right now that like is like when you go through this like daily ritual of dealing with contested territory, you'll be able to like target the syndicate you want to kind of like take down in that moment. But ultimately, the Lawless Frontier is a new activity where you'll be carrying out a variety of those missions, those smuggle, bounty hunt, sabotaging. I think you kind of can tell what they're going to be all about just with the name of them. And this is you just partnering with and against the syndicates. And so it's fast, it's tactical, and it's going to throw a ton of enemies and a variety of objectives.
Oh my God! On the
within
bottom
each of
left,
these
it's the
jobs,
Fall Guys Warlock plushie.
at your fire team in new locations across Mars, Europa, and Venus. This is all about big, chaotic co-op action within the Lawless Frontier. Yeah.
Cool. And then when you're working with the syndicates, like I expect to be paid when I take on a job. Like,
Sure.
what are they going to be
Every-
giving us?
Every criminal does.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? So, well, like one thing just to like talk about at the top because Tom and I are really excited about this, the creative lead on Renegades. The Cabal have been dropping pods on your head for like 8 years now, something like that. And so with one of our Renegade abilities, we kind of get to turn the table on the Cabal and drop one on them. It also supplies you some ammo and stuff too, some nice convenience there. But the campaign ultimately like introduce you to a number of these abilities. And the turf war, you'll actually choose which syndicates you want to pledge to in order to unlock more abilities and a bigger suite of upgrades.
I think
Also,
we're gonna
depending on
all
syndicate
go
you
for
pledge
the
to, there'll be
pikes,
other
the
bonuses and
pikers.
weekly shipments coming into Tharsis as well that you get to take advantage of.
Yeah.
And so one thing I want to note too is that all of these Renegade abilities that we're talking about in the Vidoc,
There's a
they're
cartel in
purely
Star Wars called the
additive to your
Pikes. That's why it's
subclass
funny.
abilities. The Renegade abilities do not
For those who don't
override
know.
any of your other
Oh, that is funny.
Guardian abilities. So like your super, your melee, your grenade, that's all at your disposal on top of these Renegade abilities. We really wanted to lean into the idea of this fantasy of you working with your crew and the various roles you could play within the Lawless Frontiers of all these different type of jobs that you're going to be doing.
Awesome. And then I have to give a shout out to James Sy. He's frankly one of the biggest Star Wars nerds I've ever met in my life. But he was talking about the blaster and that feel the first time he shot it. Like, let's talk about him.
Yeah, I love that blaster, and because like my personal joke is it's like Forerunner at home.
It's gotta be
kinda
an
like a
exotic,
legendary version
right?
of that exotic, and it just feels fucking incredible. Oh, sorry,
Oh.
it feels incredible. Excuse me.
Oh, it's a what?
For kids at home.
It's a
So we're
legendary?
gonna have a weapons deep dive close to launch. I know it keeps saying that. There's a ton of the Vidoc. There's even more to be talked about in the next few months. But what we can say about blasters right now is they're new, powerful
that's based
weapons
off
in
of
your
Hot Sauce
arsenal,
Blaster. That's based
and
off of
they
Fury's
actually
Blaster, which,
draw
by the way, I will be
ammo
using.
straight from your
What's the other
reserves,
one?
Dylan. And so the mechanic of this is basically heating up the gun and then venting it out.
Oh,
so no
maybe
reloading,
Bosk,
technically,
his rifle?
But since you have to like charge up heat and you have to think about overheating, it's a whole mechanic and has its own special reload associated with it. And so it's going to be all about finding like the rhythm of pace and battle between building up heat and venting.
Special reload? Are they
It's really
bringing
fun to play
active
around
reload
with.
to
The team is
do?
really honing in.
Oh my God! Gears of War in Destiny.
It's cool.
It's got a heat mechanic.
So
like
we're not going to go too deep on
Battlefront
campaign
or
because
Halo.
spoilers. We want
Yeah.
to let players discover that.
Yeah.
We've talked about the Lawless Frontier, but one of the components is invasions.
Oh yeah. So you're going to unlock Invasion as part of that turf war we've been talking about. And the syndicates are like reaching out to you and they're giving you contracts to play Hitman against other Guardian crews. So it's 1 versus 3. It's you versus a Guardian crew on the Lawless Frontier. And like we said in the Vidoc, Invasion is 100% opt-in for both the invaders and the defending fire team crew. But don't worry, because all of the difficulty
God, so y'all are right.
always
It is, you
an
can just
option that is
invade
available to you if you don't
pretty
want to
actually cool.
engage in Invasion.
That's really cool.
Although we wanted to make sure
like
that, 'cause,
sweats
even
are
though
going to
some
do
people
that.
love
You know, like
that
sweats are going
PvP
to try to
chocolate mixing
invade.
with that
I've been saying
PvP
this for
peanut butter,
years,
we wanted to
every
make sure
game
that if you
is
didn't
made
want to do
better
that,
with
there's
the Invasion, like,
always an
attitude
option for
to it.
you to do something
It's
else.
like the coolest
And then
thing
if
ever,
you do
and
opt
they
in,
should
though,
put it in literally
there's
every
more
game.
rewards or incentive,
And
right?
I mean that.
I mean,
Put it in
yeah,
Mario
you're
Bros.
like
right now.
asking, you're basically saying, hey, fire team, I'm open to having another Guardian come and wreck shop
Invasion
and mess
started
my day up,
validated.
right? And so you're taking a higher risk, so therefore there's a chance of higher reward depending on how you handle that, right?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, so that covers gameplay effectively. We do have a dungeon. We showed a little tease, but again, no spoilers. We'll let you discover that on day one. Let's talk about the last thing that players may have seen, or the first thing, honestly. We saw chat blown up. Let's talk about the saber.
Right. So, yeah, this is Destiny's homage, right? It's our love letter to the Star Wars lightsaber. And we're calling it the Praxic Blade. Again, we'll be sharing a whole lot more closer to launch. I'm really sorry. I feel like a parrot right now just saying the same thing. But what I can say is that the Praxic Blade is going to be highly customizable in both gameplay.
I don't
and
know how
visuals.
to feel about that
And
Warlock
so
armor. I'm
there's
not
gonna
gonna
be a
lie.
ton of parts and
I like it.
components
I think it's
that
nice.
you'll be chasing and
I
discovering
think
throughout the
Titan
Lawless
looks like the
Frontier,
tower
within the
from
turf
Warhammer,
war,
and I quite like that.
within the dungeon
And the cloak
itself.
for the hunter is
And
really
this
cool
is all
because
about
it's like-
kind of making the
it's like
Praxic
the
Blade
hood, and
your
then
own.
it's like the little
And
thing
you
that
saw it
goes
in the
down, and
Vidoc,
then you have,
but
like, the scarf that
the
goes
blade
down
really
to
does
the
feel
feet.
truly exotic right now. You can do things with it that no other weapon can do in Destiny, and I really can't wait till players get their hands on it.
Oh, it's an exotic.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's it
If
for
you could
Renegades.
change the color,
We have 2 more big
that'd be
subjects
awesome.
to go through today. So thanks for
It'd
running
probably
us
be
through
like-
that.
Of course.
Our next
Oh,
section
okay.
is going to be all about quality of life. It's going to be about a lot of the feedback that we've been seeing in the live game since Edge of Fate launched. And then after that, we'll be talking
It's
about
gonna be
Ash and
customizable.
Iron with another cast of devs to talk about a bunch of cool stuff. So ultimately, we have quite a lot coming over the next few
Bring me back to
months.
my days
We're going to be
of Jedi
talking about a
Academy.
bunch of high-level goals, objectives, some of our philosophy. We do not have a roadmap today, but we will have a roadmap in the next few weeks outlining our road to Renegades, which I've been calling it selfishly. So we'll figure out a fancier name for it at some point, but let's dive in. I think the first thing that I want to talk about here, let me get this up. I mean, ultimately, this feels like we're having a mini community summit on
Yeah,
stream.
yeah.
But let's talk about rewards. Let's talk about the portal. Let's talk about power. Let's talk about the climb and the feedback that we've been seeing.
Yeah, so to do a little bit more table setting and framing here, like we said at the top of the stream, we've been taking a lot of this feedback to heart, right? We've been listening very intently. We've been looking at our data, and Dylan, we know we need to make some changes, right? And so this is what this whole next section is going to be about. We're going to talk about a ton of stuff. Some of it, a little bit of it, is going to come from Ash and Iron, a lot more in Renegades, and then even more in the future. And so coming back to the power climb, we want it to be faster, we want it to have improved rewards, and we really want it to highlight new and aspirational activities when Renegades launches. And so that means looking at the Renegades campaign and the Renegades jobs in the Lawless Frontier and the activities you do there, and making sure that they both feel like great sources of seasonal power.
I wonder if we'll be able to go to Mars or Venus
that,
casually.
There's a bunch of cool stuff to do and some rewards to get, but it didn't fit into the seasonal power game, right? It didn't feel like it was a viable path.
I hope so. I
And
love turning
these
on
big
Venus
chaotic
as well.
fire team.
Oh, yeah, no,
jobs
it's
that
so
we've
fun.
built and all that variety we're pouring into it is
It's
going to be
my
this
favorite
engine
environment, yeah.
to climb seasonal power. If you're just loving that activity, you're going to be able to spend an enormous amount of time there.
Yeah, and you touched on aspirational content. So when we look at it, you're doing the power climb, but you're looking at the end game, and our raids and dungeons are a part of that.
Yes, they are. So we are making sure here, there's 2 approaches we're taking and a bunch of work that's going to come out of it. So our focus initially here is going to be on the new raid and dungeon content in this conversation. So that is Desert Perpetual, the Epic Raid here in a couple weeks, and then the dungeon releasing with Ash and Iron. And so we want to make sure that those are more dependable sources of power, both from weekly challenges, some of which that are going to happen in Ash and Iron, but then also we're going to be looking at the power drops that come when you're completing encounters and looking to see if we can adjust those and juice them up a little bit. The other big area, because what we're talking about when we say aspiration is like in-game, you're doing an in-game thing I should be rewarded for that. So with the launch of the Epic Raid for the Desert Perpetual and Epic Raid and then the dungeon afterwards, we're going to make all drops, the base drops you earn in that content, tier 3. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's ultimately attesting to like players got through some of the power grind, they went into the raid and they were seeing tier 1, tier 2 drops, and that didn't feel like endgame loot.
It did not.
We're making this tier 3 is the baseline, but then you can build up to tier 4 and tier 5 as you add more challenge, add more difficulty.
Yeah, and I think we hit on it, but I just want to make sure. We talked about improved rewards right around some of the newer content that is coming. This effort, though, is also being applied across the portal itself. And so, Dylan, I know you and I have talked about it a bunch. You know, we talked about solo ops, right? You mentioned Caldera.
Yeah, let's talk about variety in the portal and more reasons or more ways to play.
Yeah, exactly. And part of that theory right here is just like that thinking is we just have to improve
the solo ops are really
and
fun.
So a lot of what we're doing is going to be about bringing the baseline of the reward experience with renegades up to that, closer to that solo ops experience, and also really incentivize playing in fire teams more, because hey, we know Destiny's feeling lonely right now if all you do is spend time in the mines, right? And so we want to do we know we need to do a much better job at that. The other,
just to go into that example, like we're talking about Caldera, it's a solo op activity, and players feel it is the most viable path to power. So a social game like Destiny, it is a problem where you feel like you should be playing alone for all the reasons. It's like, hey, sorry friends, you want to play Raid, you want to play something else? Sorry, I'm going to go into Caldera and play alone. Yeah. We want to address that. We want to make sure Destiny is social, fun to play with friends, while still maintaining, hey, as a solo player, you can absolutely hop in, but we aren't going to make you feel worse. So example there too, we said, hey, we're going to tone down Caldera and solo ops. We're actually reverting that. We had announced it, we're taking that back, and as you said, that's the new benchmark. We're going to raise things up to feel like Caldera and feel rewarding like solo ops.
Yeah, and we've already talked about that. We're going to do some of that in Ash and Iron. One of the other things
I
we're
like
looking at doing in Ash and Iron right now
honestly.
is taking our bonus engrams and having them just more consistently award power deeper into the climb and adjusting that. We're also, this is a good segue, I think, kind of into our next area where we can talk more about rework.
I want that picture in the back. I want that as like a
So the
poster.
other thing we're going to be doing with bonus engrams when Renegades launches is they're going to feed more into.
They have prints on their table, but it's not of that.
When it launches, there's a bunch of stuff to do that's going to accelerate you into power climb.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the effectively weekly reset curated activities from Bungie. So you have a moment each week of, let's hop into raid night, let's do Grandmasters, things like that.
Yeah, so the thing you're speaking to, Dylan, the thing we talk about a lot is like, yeah, clan night, raid night, right? We got to get that feeling of hey, I log in on Tuesday and there's just like a bunch of stuff to look forward to. And so a few ways we're going to do that is one with a new system that we're calling Vanguard orders that comes out in Renegades. So Vanguard orders are actually this like new objective system where you're going to be, and we should have a mock-up on screen right now. It looks like our monitor isn't showing the exact right thing just for our place in the studio, so I'm just going to assume it's working. And so within these Vanguard orders, you're going to have all these different objectives that you can do, and you don't have to pick these up like bounties, right?
Legacy raids and
automatically
dungeons.
Granted to you.
I wonder if that means they'll
when
bring
you
back
log into
older
the portal.
raids.
And then what's really cool about these is that they pull some of that like Destiny 1 bounty vibe, where as you complete an order on the left-hand side of the screen of this mock-up here, you will actually roll. You can roll on higher tier orders, like a legendary order that will give you consistent rewards, or an exotic tier order that can give you exotic tier rewards. And so this is all about just creating a bunch more like little moments of variety within the portal and these different little objectives that you can do. We already touched on bonus engrams a little bit and how we're going to be reworking those even more with Renegades launches to feed into that idea of like, look at all these things in the portal. I know if I go and gobble up all the green engrams, I'm accelerating on my power climb, and that's much easier and clearer for players to understand. But the other place that we've been getting a ton of feedback on, and we're going to be making changes to, is the weekly conquests, basically. So right now, we have the concept of the conquest as a milestone on your seasonal power journey, and it gives you like a massive, like big dump of rewards. We are going to be making those we're going to be making it repeatable, but then there's going to be a weekly reward for them. There's no way for us, honestly, to balance the crazy amount of rewards you get from the milestones, but we're going to make sure we incentivize them and create a weekly version as
and we actually have a change going live today to make conquests repeatable, but the rewards component is what we need to focus on for a future update.
Yeah, and Dylan, you and I were talking about this a bunch over the last couple of days. Is like we want to get back to that, like we want to get Conquest closer to that GM feeling, to that Grandmaster Nightfall feeling of the past, and that's kind of like our little North Star for that.
Yep.
The other big thing too that we've been listening to feedback on and we're moving really, really fast on right now is getting weekly legacy raid and dungeon content as like a tunnel from the portal to that. So to set expectations here with Renegades, this is going to first come in the form of, hey, reasons to play this content, to do like weekly challenges and earn powerful rewards from them, right? Again, we want this weekly reset. We want you to clearly know when you log in, here's a bunch of stuff to look forward to play with your friends and others. The reason I have to set expectations, though, is like we hear the feedback about wanting the gear reprised from raids and dungeons. Dylan, if we could just like flip a switch and make that happen, I think we'd be more than happy to do that. But it's just not that simple. There's a bunch of work that goes into actually creating the new gear and the gear tiers, and so we are going to be looking to make the reward experience of Legacy and Raid dungeons better as time goes on. Our first focus is making it fit into that weekly reset and into that power climb.
Yeah. And we have our first step today with dungeon lairs. In the portal, there are going to be three encounters coming from Legacy dungeon content. You can get power bumps from those. You can get portal
encounters,
from those, but we hear the feedback on general rewards.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna be looking to add more to this, like what this weekly ritual feels like. These are the areas we are targeting initially here for Renegades.
All right, so let's move on to our final two subjects. Really are centered around sandbox.
Yeah.
First of which is going to be build crafting, and then the second is around just our general approach to balance. So we have another list here of. Honestly, we've been getting a ton of feedback around featured gear. We've been getting feedback around like legendary weapon tiering. What are we changing?
Yeah, so this whole space is about expanding build crafting and gear chase. And we hear y'all. Like, we hear that featured gear is far too restrictive for how you're playing the game right now. And so one of the big changes we're making is all exotic weapons and armor are going to be featured gear starting in Renegades. So the class items, your prismatic builds, they're back on the table. You don't have to worry about
Was
it anymore.
Graviton Forfeit even featured?
You put on. It's all about what build you want to craft, right?
Finally, our exotics are
going
going
to
be featured.
A lot when it comes to the gear chase is like, hey, you might earn a tier 1, 2, or 3 weapon, a roll of a weapon you really love, your personal god roll, or the community
so many people like complaining in the chat and stuff.
You're like, man, it's cool, but like, it's not that top tier, right? And so in Shadow and Order,
these changes are good.
Renegades, you're going to be able to enhance the tier of your
more vault space. Look,
all the way from tier 1 to tier 5
finally.
With a new currency and a new feature that we're building for them.
Even though I just finished it, I'm sorry, got my
expanding that chase.
Yeah.
As a gun hoarder.
Before we get ahead of ourselves,
upcoming super and
as a
subclass
player,
buffs.
and I'm guessing in chat, people are saying, oh, so I should be keeping my tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 weapons. Where am I going to put these? What's going on with vault space?
Yeah, so with Renegades, we are going to give you more vault space. That is the thing we're going to be doing. And also, the team is working on a pretty big update to improve the sorting and filtering of just using your vault in-game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking finally.
We'll have many more details in the coming weeks and months when we get this roadmap together. But our final note in this section before we go to balance is the portal scoring.
Yes. Yeah. So right now with the
this is needed.
Gear, there is just an
very needed, to be honest,
bonus that you get for wearing that gear. I guess it's extrinsic because we're asking you to put it on. But anyway, if you have it on, you get a score bonus in the portal, which means you're not only thinking about like activity customization, your build, but also now you have to think about the score too, and like, should I wear this or not in order to chase the high score? And for the vast majority of the experiences in the portal, we think that's just too much complexity right now. And so we are sunsetting that idea. And so again, this is going to drastically open up the space for you to basically use whatever you want in the vast majority of things you play inside of the portal when you're chasing gear and doing that power climb.
And a North Star for this, when y'all were talking about it, we've had a ton of conversations with the dev team, is like, there's a lot of feeling of, I'm playing Destiny the wrong way, and this was contributing to it because I had to think, oh, if I put this armor on, it's wrong. This helps that out and gets you into the fun faster.
Yes,
so.
And then, like, we do believe and see a space for ways to highlight gear and exotics and things like that, stuff we've done with the artifact for a while now. We want it to be part of the game because I think, you know, pushing people off of the super hot stuff is really healthy sometimes to just have more fun and experiment with things. But we know that we need to find ways to make this feel like a bonus and more excitement to do it versus what we currently have now, which is why we're making these changes.
Awesome.
I want to try these new
guns.
guns.
And then our last section here for quality of life, let's talk about sandbox balance.
That they
Y'all
showed.
have been really taking a lot of the feedback to heart since the announce of quite a few nerfs and some balancing, and you have some new approaches to philosophy when it comes to this.
Yeah, so at the top here, one of the things we're doing is we're upgrading our internal process for kind of how we evaluate our buff and nerf policies, and also the timing of which when we go out and do those. And so a big part of that here through Renegade's launch is going to be non-critical balance changes are on pause right now. And so this is partially in reaction to obviously some of the sentiment around some of the changes we're making, but it's giving time for us to make sure that when we do start to do more balance updates a little more frequently again, we communicate honestly. We just need to do a better job about communicating about why we're changing something and some of the intent behind it. Mm-hmm. And the reason I speak about this, because you asked me this a couple times in our rehearsal, Dylan, it's like, what does non-critical mean? Sorry, I'm taking your words here.
No.
I'm just on a roll. We really want to make sure that we're still making balance changes, or, you know, if we have to ban something for that epic raid race or the dungeon race that's going to happen with Renegades, right? The quality of that experience is incredibly important to us, and we know it's incredibly important to y'all. And so, again, we're putting a pause on nerfs and balance changes for now, but if we really need to change something because it's critical for those upcoming events, we'll make changes.
Yeah. And ultimately, it's like, there are some things where you watch somebody go on a Titan and kill a raid boss in 2 punches, like, that's critical. That needs to be toned down or balanced around. But other things, like, we actually have a list here of, we announced some tuning changes or nerfs that we're going to be reverting. Last week we were talking about Grand Overture and Queenbreaker.
Yeah.
We're reverting the changes there.
Yes.
And then we had some reworks to exotics like Stronghold, Chromatic Fire. We're going to be reverting those. And then as a part of this new initiative where we're looking at our philosophy, reevaluating how we do these things, we'll be looking how we approach it and how we communicate it.
Yes.
So
exactly.
I wonder if they're going to try and nerf Lord of Wolves because
high, honestly,
like
we've
can
been
kill
talking about nerfs
Crota.
and all that. Let's talk about buffs.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so we've got some buffs. We've been working with the gameplay team around supers and subclasses that are going to be coming. Some with Ash and Iron here in October, but then also in December with Renegades. And I think you've been talking with them.
I need to work on the catalyst.
Yeah. Big thank you to Ben Womack, Eric Smith, Sandbox team. A couple notes, like we saw a thread where folks were saying, hey, the original 3 supers that launched with
we're playing
11
Ash and Iron though
years ago,
today.
Yeah.
they feel a bit undertuned. And I saw a note where it's like Ward of Dawn, Titan Bubble. That needs to be brought up. Golden Gun. I know Warlocks are getting some abilities changes too.
Turrets.
So
turrets changes coming very soon.
And grenades and other things too.
They're buffing Bubble. I'm so
we will have a full list over the coming weeks. And honestly,
I know somebody who would be hyped about the bubble change as well.
Get our roadmap together so we know exactly which hot fixes, updates they're going to be rolling out in. But we'll be as transparent as possible with you. So to really end it and get into the awesome Ash and Iron content, thank you again to everybody that's been giving us feedback. Thank you to everybody that's been playing and diving into all the changes. We know some need work, and we're going to be doing that. We've been listening.
I don't even know what
now
to think about Renegades.
Stages, and we're executing on a bunch of changes over the next few updates and beyond Renegades. So, Robbie, thank you for joining us. As we're going into Ash and Iron, we got to get the catch full of new devs.
Yep.
So, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. And we're listening and we're going to keep responding to feedback. So thank you all so much. And
think for themselves.
Yeah, you brought up Vidoc. We have a trailer for
just murderous robots.
That's really cool, and I'm actually going to do kind of that killing.
The conductor's force.
Same. Whoa. Look at that.
It's snowy.
We're sending you in to investigate.
Thank God. We've already seen this trailer, but
I know, I'm just still excited to see.
No, it's still exciting because look at all the Seaven. Look at all of this because this is the Playlands. For reference, people, Ghost and I and Denmark all played through all of Destiny 1 this year. I've played it before, but this would be the first time Ghost has ever, and I think first time Denmark has ever gone through the expansions. Yeah, we finished Rise of Iron. We just didn't finish the after campaign for you. We have to still do that.
Rise of Iron is my favorite campaign, so I'm so hyped about it. Also, that gun looks tiny and silly.
Yeah, that's a Sturm and Drang. The gold one was Drang, the bigger one. Yeah, that's Drang, and then the other one was. Oh, I think we're getting a new crossbow.
Stay in the fight.
Yeah, Crucible Wastelander. So I could either run a Wastelander battle rifle or battle rifle or Wastelander. I think that's gonna be a relic. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of like the scythe.
Yeah, probably. But a girl can dream.
Welcome back. In about 20 minutes, the content from that trailer is going live. Let's talk about Ash and Iron. We have a bunch of really cool stuff coming with a new activity called Reclaim. We have a new introductory activity that's going to be giving you some insight into the narrative. We also have an exotic mission coming in October. Team's finishing up on that, and we're super excited for the weapon that's associated with that. And we actually have some updates to recurring events like Iron Banner, Arms Week, Festival of the Lost, and more. So without further ado, hello, welcome to
Festival of the Lost. If they show the mask, I'm going to be so excited.
Some of you have been here before, but Noah, first on the couch.
That person's wearing a Sing 14 shirt, I think.
I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome.
No, they're not. They're wearing one of the...
Yeah.
Who are you? What do you do? What's your title?
Yeah, my name's Noah Pearson. I'm an associate sandbox designer here at Bungie. While my title is like officially working on the armor team, I do work in exotic armor from time to time, but you find me more commonly working on the seasonal artifacts, so like the one for Heresy, the current one for Season of Reclamation. Both those are mine. But I've also branched out and I've gotten to do a pretty cool exotic weapon in this release as well.
Awesome. Next on the couch, Jerome, welcome back.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, really quick, let's get a summary. Who are you? What do you do?
I'm Jerome. I'm a narrative lead, so we do the lore, we do the dialogue, we do the cutscenes, and we plan the overall story for Destiny 2.
Awesome. Last but not least, Clayton.
Hey.
Welcome back. I believe you were last here for Revenant and Into the Light.
Yep.
Yeah. For folks that may have missed out on those streams, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm a design lead here for the activities and events area on Destiny 2, and in the past I've been an activity designer.
So I guess he helped
for
design
activities
Onslaught,
like
if you're
Onslaught
curious.
Or Coil or Seraph Shield. So it's been really fun getting my hands dirty in different types of activities and bringing those experiences to the players.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
This looks
so as we're diving through some stuff, we already have gameplay rolling. This is our new activity, Reclaim. But Jerome, let's talk about narrative. How are things kicking off?
For sure. Well, Maya Sundaresh, the conductor, has somewhat overextended herself on Kepler during the events of Edge of Fate. And she foolishly tried to meddle in the affairs of the Nine and essentially assassinated 3 of the 9, which is the 3 of Earth.
3 being a single entity, right?
Yes, exactly. And that's going to have huge knock-on effects for the people of Earth in physics and chemistry, and we'll hear a lot more about that in Renegades. But for now, Maya is somewhat depleted, right? And she is starting to lose control over her collective. She's starting to bleed individuals at the edges of her collective, and those are the pants-wearing, poker-playing Vex that you saw.
Crime. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so she needs to reassert control over her collective. And in order to do that, she needs a signal boost to maximize the power of her waning Echo of Command. And the best tool for that job is, of course, Golden Age tech. And the best place to find Golden Age tech is in the Vanguard Vault, which is why Ash and Iron begins with a defense of the tower from a smash and grab by Maya's forces.
That's cool.
Both Vex
Oh my God.
and conscripted Cabal, which you'll learn more about during the season. But that's going to be a start, but not sufficient for her plans. So she will need
like the Nether.
functional warset network to really expand her reach. And there's only one place where you can find that, and that's in the Plaguelands, which is where most of Ash and Iron takes place.
Awesome. So speaking of the smash and grab, when players first sign in for Ash and Iron, they're going to see a node that they can launch for the introductory mission. It's not auto-launched. You're going to select it, jump in when you're ready. But after that, you'll hop into Reclaim. Those are going to be
so we can all join together and just do that.
Clayton, let's get a quick overview. What are players seeing on the screen?
Yeah, so Reclaim is our new 3-player activity. It comes with 3 different variants. It has players, like Jerome was saying, going into the Plaguelands, stopping Maya's forces from taking Golden Age tech and reclaiming those areas, those territories. And so you notice that there's a lack of Fallen, but we through our like ambient combatants and our environmental storytelling, you'll know a little bit more about what has happened there, how Maya's come in and pushed them all out. You'll see some of them trying to fight back to get in because they think that's their land, right? And as a player, you're trying to go in there and play in a similar way that you might find like Overthrow, where we took a lot of inspiration from. So you get to choose how you want to feel that.
I hope we see remnants of Devil
Splicers, which
Splicers.
adds to a bunch of replayability. You can progress
For sure,
by finding hidden chests or defeating roaming targets. There's collectibles in there as well.
If they're just like House of Dusk, like they're just Purple Fallen, I'm going to be sad.
And then once you've completed the area, unlike Overthrow, you move to the next area by way of ship that you'll see on the screen.
Stellar. Yeah, and I was talking to our gameplay folks before this launched, and we talked a bit about there's a bit of like, nether DNA in here, where you have your main objectives, and then you can find things throughout the area as well.
Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, we have Vivian went ham and gave us these like quite frankly unbalanced buffs that will have a rare chance of spawning, and you get to choose which one. One example is that if you choose it, you'll just be radiant and what's the other? Radiant and amplified. Thank you. Yeah, just the whole time.
Amplified?
So yeah, have fun choosing between
that's
these
insane.
crazy buffs and using them to finish the activity.
That's insane.
And when we're talking about collectibles, there's going to be
because you'll infinitely have speed booster.
Absolutely, we're continuing
and infinitely have a damage buff.
The pass forward from the previous expansion, and those lore drops will tell players a lot about what to expect.
Oh, I knew Saint was in this.
The cast and the themes, though it's not explicit, so they'll have to use a little detective work, we hope, but it will give a lot of information about what's to come.
Got it. So these are going to be like the data pads you find.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
the portal.
Exactly.
Awesome. Yeah. So I mean, let's talk about weapons. Let's talk about the loot. And Noah, now it's time for the spotlight to go on you.
Yeah.
First up, let's talk about the exotic that's going to be in the rewards pass for Ash Iron. This is going to be our pulse rifle.
Yeah, so Noon Malpice is going to be
Wait, really?
reward pass.
If that's got to be an exotic if that's the case.
With the Edge of Fate, we released a rocket frame pulse rifle, Mint Retrograde, that people have really taken
Ghost,
to
if it's an exotic, will you be rocking that?
And we kind of took a look at that and we're like, well, what's a cool way to one-up that and like plus one it for an exotic. So you may notice from the
I know something that would get you to change your loadout again if they brought back Zen Meteor or the Young Wolf's
These
Howl.
will stick onto the environment, they'll stick onto enemies.
Why don't you give me Young Wolf? I want to never complain about your
little firecrackers. It's really fun to just sort of like spray them out across like a group of guys, and then you like turn around, walk away from them, click the button, and have them like pop all behind you.
So you could basically put down like
this
strand
may
mines
say
with
a
this
lot
gun.
about me as a person, but you can also stick these to your teammates, right?
I guess you'll have to see.
All right. Okay, so let's
Excuse
talk
me?
about the next exotic. This is going to be tied to an exotic mission that's coming out in October, and I can already see you kind of getting excited, like Vivian was excited for the crossbows that we added. Let's talk about the Iron Axe.
Because I know I'll be forced to run into.
Yeah, so the exotic
Oh
mission,
wow! Yeah, they're
you know,
adding a
way
new
back
crossbow.
with Rise of Iron. Like as a player, I remember like the YouTube videos coming out ahead of it of like YouTubers being like, hey, maybe Bungie's gonna give us this axe that's in the marketing, and like obviously didn't come to pass in that release, and like come final shape, Crows got it, and I, much like many people, were like, man, I want that axe. So when I heard that we were gonna be doing a little Return to the Plaguelands, it was like, I'm gonna twist whatever arms necessary to finally get the thing that I know I want, and I've seen other people
Ghost,
want
I think,
for ages. So yeah,
I got a question.
I can confirm
Do you want?
that's no relic.
Do you prefer this over the Young Wolf's Howl?
Thank you. Yeah, and I think for Clayton and Jerome,
I feel like if they added Young Wolf's Howl, I would probably just
mission, the team is finishing up the touches and really building this experience. It'll be launching in October.
Oh my
Let's
God!
just give
It's
a
straight up
quick
just
preview, no
the
spoilers
axe
or no
from
deep
Destiny
spoilers about
1.
What's the premise?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, Maya wants to expand her reach, and the best way to do that is like the same way you would with the Wi-Fi in your house. You need expanders, you need routers, right, to boost that signal. And so she is going to be looking to get her hands on Warsat technology, which is why we'll be working with Saint 14 and Anna Bray throughout the season. Saint 14 is sort of our tactical expert.
I like
and
that
Anna,
cast.
as with her.
No, I
associate
like
Rasputin
that cast.
having all the subject matter expertise on war
never
sets.
complain getting another Saint.
And not to get too deep into spoilers, but you will be
Yeah,
working with
Saint and
3
Anna.
of
No,
Karatol's,
the only thing that can
scions,
make that better is throwing in like Elsie or like Eris.
I can't wait. Yeah, October can't come soon enough. So let's come back to
No,
day
they should
one.
also add a Shiro.
I keep
I would
checking
make her quick
my watch here. 10
Yeah, you know,
minutes,
bring
11
back Shiro
minutes
as
until
well.
launch. We also have a slate of legendary weapons that are going to be coming out.
'Cause, like,
we
he
have
has,
some armor sets in the portal that are going to have brand
experience
new
in this zone.
armor set bonuses, but we also have brand new weapons. And I know a couple of
People
these
in
things
the
are kind of complementary to
in
each
our
other.
server are
Yeah.
freaking out.
So with Ash and Iron, we as Sandbox were like taking a look at some exotics we wanted to bring up, and we talked about Mida and Sturm getting some updates to bring them up to that modern parity. But like when those weapons came out during year 1, they came with their paired weapons, and like during that time, you know, it made sense, you know, like to have 2 primaries. That was what the game was. So when you're taking a look at like bringing them up to modern Sandbox standards, you're like, well, we should probably hit it for the paired weapons as well too. So we took a look at some of our other special archetypes, and we're like, what could we set up for this? So with this release, we've talked about them, I believe, in the TWID, but we are going to have a rocket frame Drang Unfall. And a new like lightweight
rocket frame
macro
Drang.
tool shotgun.
That makes it so
and both
much
of them
better.
Have perk pools that
That's
kind of key
really
off of
funny.
being those paired weapons. So like Mida Macro Tool has Discord. And
I might
Trench Barrel, which is
unironically
really
use
fun to,
Drang
like, run that
if
with
they do
Mida,
that.
'cause then you have like, you know, you pop a couple guys.
I mean, they
to get those, like,
I say if they
attachments
do.
onto Mida, and then you switch and you have Discord proc, and you like slap a guy, and then you just are able to like pump into a bunch of dudes. And it's got the really
it's
cool
just
draw
like-
animation from
that's-
Wastelander back during 30th anniversary.
that's
So you
funny.
get that cool like cowboy draw. And it's so fun to run
And
around
the
with.
sidearm is
Okay, so it is
It
just
is
like
our
based off of the
second,
Wastelander.
Arc rocket frame sidearm. It's got a pretty big mag size, so instead of volt shot on this one, it has jolting feedback, which is pretty fun to plug a couple
that's
rockets
not
into a guy
Sturm.
and have them
It just
jolted, and then
looks
pop them
like
with, like,
it.
a really powerful Sturm shot.
Awesome. Yeah, and these are going to be added so through the portal. Reclaim is going to be living in the portal in the fire team area, and that's where you're going to earn some of these. We also have Crucible Ops is going to be the source of the shotgun, and then a couple other things as well that you'll discover in just a few minutes here. So let's move on. Our last our last topic of the day is going to be around events, our recurring events. And the first thing that kicks off is actually a new one to celebrate Reclaim. And Clayton, what are we going to be doing today?
Yeah, we're launching with New Territories Reclaim. It's a new standard event that will highlight a new activity. And so we do that with our daily challenges, weekly challenges, or it's for a week, so 1 weekly challenge, and then it has its own reward track and an event home that you can launch the activity from as well.
Awesome. And then I believe it's next week.
I need you both to back me up in general with what I just said.
An event home?
Yes, it'll have event home, same slew of things where daily challenges, a weekly challenge. You'll have your reward track. We have a hand cannon coming in there. We have an armor set.
Like to let them know I'm not lying.
Yeah, I believe we redacted the new set bonuses for Iron Banner, but I've heard they're actually quite fun.
Pretty cool. Might want to hold on to it when you get your hands on that axe.
Awesome. And then the third event that's going to be coming is Arms Week, Noah. Coming back, the first one was all centered around, let's look at hand cannons. We had the new shotgun style hand cannon.
Yeah.
And then with this one, it's going to be shotguns.
Yeah. Yeah, we're taking a look at shotguns this time around. So much like during the prior Arms Week, we will also have a cool slate of shotgun mods this time around. My favorite of which, when the designer who was working on them, Taylor Bjorndal, who was on the stream before, when he was starting to work on them, me and him were sort of bouncing ideas back and forth. And I was talking about like old rapid fire frame shotguns when they had like the really fast rate of fire. And I was like, I mean, what if all shotguns shot like that? And he like paused for a minute, and then I got the message, what if they're all just fourth horsemen?
Bjorn,
say that again?
Mad scientist.
It is really entertaining to take a shotgun and have it shoot.
You would have liked the hand cannon they released like a few weeks ago. Then
we saw a lot of celebration with these volatile mods for hand cannons during that week. So with shotguns, we have the one that's effectively going to be fourth horseman everywhere.
Yeah.
But we have a couple more too,
Yeah.
and we'll leave that for players to discover
It's going to
soon.
be super awesome.
Next up on the slate, we have Festival of the Lost is going to be coming back during Ash and Iron, and we have a preview of our armor sets. So these are armor ornament sets. Y'all voted on these earlier in the year last year, and we had to show them.
Yeah. Oh my God, I need that
cannot
suit.
wait to have those roses on my shoulders.
Warlock.
But with Festival of the Lost
Ghost,
have
what do you think of the
some new
Hunter?
activity content, correct?
That's right.
I fucking love it.
Headless Ones.
Do you think you're gonna get that?
Haunted Lost Sector Jail.
Probably.
Because of that, we have new activities. So we have a new PvE 6-player activity called Haunted Altars.
A
And then we have
6-player
new
activity for
PvP
festival?
activity called Red Rumble. Hocus Focusing is coming back. It's going to be a 2-week-long activity. We have 2 new weapons, a reprise weapon. You'll have your reward track, event home, the whole shebang. I'm very excited. It is very fun to play in this activity.
Awesome.
So it's chaos, just all chaos.
And then the last on our list, so Jerome, we have a new event called Call to Arms that's going to be coming at the end of Ash and Iron. Can you give us a quick overview?
Sure. We're going to be working with Devrim K, who has been holding down the EDZ for the better part of a decade without a ghost, right? Doing it all in one life. And he'll be taking some much-deserved R&R in the tower and being our liaison to the foundries. We have to remember that most of the guns that Guardian fires are designed and produced in the last city.
So much
of course, we know that they're actually designed and produced here with the Sandbox team.
What do you mean? Cassoid's in-house.
That's right, Mr. Cassoid, right here. So we will be working with Devrim to stress test the latest and greatest in gear from the foundries, and the Guardians that can push their gear the furthest and get the most out of it will reap the greatest reward. So there's a competitive aspect to it as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, when we're talking about this competitive aspect, the Call to Arms is going to be a ton of rewards, legendaries, some cosmetics for anyone to earn, but then we have kind of some cosmetics at the top for our
it's
hardcore.
It's kind of funny that there's no snow here.
I think you were talking about
since the Plaguelands is like.
We have a helmet ornament.
Oh, you can see snow over there now. That's funny. Look.
When you equip it, if you're in the
Did you
top
see
burner,
it to
you
the
have
right?
this like tail of flames coming from you. And much like the trial glows, these flames signify that you are a top
background trees, my beloved. My favorite feature.
When I load into the tower, I'm going to see this guy with a giant fire.
I was wondering what they're going to do with the Cosmodrome, because Cosmodrome is connected to the Plagueland.
But then we have some cosmetics.
Because like in D1, you could literally go to this area they're in right now.
Too. Like, I believe
you know, in the Plaguelands. So I was wondering how they're going to do it.
Reward track and a bunch of other things to earn too. So
we have daily login rewards as well, and we have vouchers that will actually help set you up
over
for the next season.
The snow just is over there.
Thanks for the quick overview. We will definitely have more information in the Twit about this new event. And as we're going through Ash and Iron, we'll have an update before each of these events to give you a quick
I'm really curious on what the pass is going to look like, because I might buy it, because I do have silver.
Brand new crossbow that's going to be coming in. So our first crossbow was introduced through raids. And this one is going to be through our events. To start, it's going to be a low drop.
I want
from
that.
Any of the events that we just covered. And then in Call to Arms, you can focus this thing to really hammer on getting those rolls. And Noah, what's the damage type on this?
Yeah, so you might have seen it. It looks like the stasis crossbow.
Yeah, it also kind of like just it looks
very happy to say that
in
it does
like
have chill clip, and it in fact does freeze in 2 shots.
You know,
and
like it kind of looks like an elixir
fun
weapon.
play pattern of like you pop a guy twice with it, they freeze, and then if you have serrated bolts, you run up and you pull them out of him, and the serrated bolts do damage and cause him to pop. So you just like put him in a major, and you cause him to explode and hit all the dudes around him. And it was an oddly fun play pattern of just running around and blasting people that I got quite a few giggles out of in playtests.
I can't wait. So again, to say it, today with our new territories event, you can get this to drop. It will be a low drop chance, but over the course of the rest of the season with each event, more chances, and then Call to Arms, you can focus it along with other gear and really go hard for the role you want.
And it has a holofoil.
And a holofoil in Call to Arms as well. So that brings us to the end of our show. So thank you all for joining us on the couch. Thank you all for joining us at home. We hope you
Before
enjoyed
we
the
end
Vidoc.
our recording,
the Renegades pre-orders are live now, and as we said at the top of the show, we have some new
they're really pulling a
incentives
Han
that
Solo
also
with
apply to
Drifter
your Prophecy folks
in
that,
Renegades, it
purchase
looks
that
like.
edition. A new legendary ship, a new legendary...
I wonder if that means Eris will be involved.
Yeah, in what, 3 minutes here, we have Ash and Iron launching. So thanks for coming in. Hope you enjoy the rewards. We'll have more details on our quality of life updates over the next few weeks.
Could you imagine they recreate the scene where Leia unfreezes Han, but it's Eris and Drifter?
We're going to be handing off the stream to Mactix. Good friend. He's great at Destiny. Sometimes I do question his PvP prowess, but love the guy. So thanks for joining. Have a good day.
There's going to be a handle for us doing just like really illegal and stuff. Probably not going to do that. So there's a
No, we're definitely not working with the Vanguard for this. Did you see how Drifter was here? Like they did a little 3D thing where it was Drifter with like 5 or 6 other Guardians, and he was holding Malfeasance. So I wonder if they're going to make an AI Drifter that will fight with us. All right. Well, thank you for watching our video. Ghost, are there any closing thoughts you want to have of like everything we see?
I was also very, very limited renegades because I am, just as a general rule, like a known disliker, strong disliker, not quite a hater, but disliker of crossovers. But it looks like they did this well. It's like they captured the Star Wars vibe in a way that doesn't. It's not just like they put stormtroopers in D2. And I'm very happy with that. Also, I am going to retool my entire build so that I can use my axe as much as physically possible.
Oh yeah. Denmark, your closing thoughts.
I'm in Ghost boat where I'm very, very wary of crossovers just because 90% of the time they're horribly done and they're really uninteresting and they kind of just like muddy the waters. But for the most part, it looks pretty well done. I have a few worries in the fact that like, I don't know, it might be a little much getting like straight up lightsaber fights in like cutscenes.
Yeah,
in,
that's fair.
Robots with like Robin Williams. I get that out of here. It might be a little it might be a little much. Is the thing is what I'm saying. I don't want it to just be like, oh yeah, by the way, let's take time out of the story to just do Star Wars stuff. You know, it worries me.
I'm curious on how this plays into the 9.
Yeah.
They did mention that. It also, I completely agree with you about lightsabers. I saw that and I'd been like, you know?
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, this is cool, but
Yeah, like to get a lightsaber and use it in gameplay, but like if there's like a full cutscene where the Darth Revan looking guy and the Dredgen Hunter looking girl, just like have a lightsaber.
I think the Dredgen was the Dark Guardian.
Oh, the Dredgen Hunter.
Oh.
It would be really funny though if there was like setting up to be a climactic lightsaber fight in some cutscene, and then
the Darth Vader shows up,
comes up, just Nova bombs them in the face, and they die instead of.
That would be funny.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, the new game modes look really fun. I'm excited to learn about more outside of the Vanguard. That's what I really liked about Edge of Fate. Is that I am a no disliker of crossovers, but I am an active hater of the Vanguard. I would let them all die for a cheese sandwich. So
you know what? I must ask then, did you like Beyond Light where we were working with how people have dubbed them the Dark Vanguard, aka Drifter, Eris, and Elsie?
I didn't like Beyond Light too much for other reasons, but that was my favorite part of it. I just fucking hate the Vanguard. So I'm very excited to learn about like, the wider world, because I've always been like a little curious about it, because there's like in the game it's like this such overwhelming presence both in D1 and D2 of like this mythical Vanguard. But then like they're also like this
what's
is
outside the walls.
City. There's this last city and there's like tiny outposts on every planet. And like I don't know. I have not caught up on geography lately, but I think Earth is bigger than a city. So I'm very excited to see.
Indeed. My closing thoughts are, oh my god, I'm excited. I'm really curious on what's going to happen to Drifter, seeing that we saw him frozen. I hope he doesn't get like kidnapped and we don't see him for like another expansion or something, right? That would be heartbreaking. I'm really curious on where this Cabal faction is from. You know, because something like this has had to be built up. And I think we're already getting like sprinkles of that, because apparently Zur was mugged by Cabal recently. Like unironically, there's a lore page talking about it to get his flight routes. What?
They mugged him?
They mugged him for his flight routes.
How dare they do that to my boy Zur?
Yeah.
This
anyway,
is the thing. I I take back all of the good things I said. How dare they do that to my boy?
There's a lot of lore stuff that like I could go on about, but the point is, I'm very, very curious about them, and I think I want Renegades. I'm excited for Renegades, but with that being said, thank you so much for watching our reaction. I know there were parts we just were not talking. I think it's because we were all enthralled by like what they were talking about and like hearing what they had to say. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and we will. I will see you in whatever I upload next. Thank you for Ghost and Denmark for being here. Thank you for Denmark for recording this. I had no ability to record something like this. So yeah, with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Goodbye, everyone.